The moment those words slipped from Yağmur Yüksel's lips, the atmosphere around her seemed to shift. The statement was short, quiet, almost casual, but it carried the weight of a thunderstorm. I find Gökberk Yıldırım more attractive than Barış. In that instant, the illusion of calm around one of the most talked-about love stories in recent months shattered like glass under pressure. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below, because what unfolded after this shocking confession is a tangled web of jealousy, betrayal, whispers, and family interference that no one saw coming. At first, no one wanted to believe it. How could Yağmur, who had been so publicly close to Barış Baktas, admit such a thing? How could she casually mention finding Gökberk Yıldırım more attractive, knowing how every word she spoke was dissected by millions? But she did. And in the unforgiving world of celebrity gossip, one statement can ignite an inferno. The moment her words spread, the internet went wild. Headlines popped up everywhere. Social media burned. Fans screamed. And behind closed doors, sources say Barış's reaction was nothing short of explosive. The tension between Yağmur and Barış had apparently been building for weeks. Insiders whisper that their relationship, once seemingly glamorous and stable, had turned cold and brittle. Their public smiles had grown stiff, their interviews rehearsed. Observant fans had already noticed how Barış seemed distant during their last joint event, offering polite smiles but avoiding any physical closeness. Yağmur, on the other hand, had begun appearing at industry gatherings alone, dressed in dazzling outfits that screamed independence rather than partnership. What looked like a power couple was already crumbling behind the scenes. But the real spark came when Yağmur made her fateful comment at a private afterparty attended by close friends and a few industry insiders. According to multiple sources, the conversation started innocently, just friends discussing who they found most charismatic in the industry. Then Yağmur, with a laugh that some described as too relaxed, said she found Gökberk more attractive than Barış. It wasn't a rehearsed PR line. It wasn't meant for headlines. But someone at that party didn't keep it a secret. Within hours, the quote was on gossip pages and fan forums. And by morning, it was everywhere. The reaction from Barış was described by people close to him as furious but controlled. He didn't storm out publicly. He didn't post anything on social media. But behind closed doors, there were arguments, raised voices, and tears. Barış, who has always prided himself on his calm, collected image, reportedly felt betrayed not because of what was said, but because of what it revealed, a hidden truth about how Yağmur had been feeling for a long time. Sources claim he had already suspected a shift in her feelings, but hearing it so bluntly and knowing the world had heard it too was devastating. Paparazzi had a field day. Within 24 hours, Barış was photographed leaving a private club late at night, looking visibly tense, surrounded by friends, but saying nothing to the cameras. One photo in particular, Barış sitting in the back of a car, his jaw clenched, eyes lost in thought, went viral. It became the unofficial image of a man blindsided. Meanwhile, Yağmur remained silent. No statements. No denials. No apologies. Just a carefully curated Instagram post of her enjoying coffee by a sunlit window, smiling, wearing oversized sunglasses. The caption? A single heart emoji. And that silence screamed louder than any words could. Then came the Gökberk factor. The actor, known for his quiet charisma and subtle charm, suddenly found himself at the center of a media storm he hadn't asked for. Paparazzi swarmed him outside every gym, every restaurant, every studio. Journalists hurled questions about Yağmur and Barış. He said nothing. But his silence didn't stop the speculation. Some claimed Yağmur and Gökberk had been growing close during a recent project. Others insisted she had always admired him from afar. One particularly persistent rumor suggested they had exchanged flirty messages long before her comment ever went public. The rumors of betrayal exploded online. Fan accounts dissected every interaction between Yağmur and Gökberk over the past year. Old photos, harmless smiles, brief greetings at events, everything was now evidence in the public court of opinion. On one fan forum, A user posted a slowed-down video clip from an award ceremony where Yağmur greeted Gökberk with what they claimed was a too-long glance. The comment section beneath it became a war zone between those defending her right to express herself and those accusing her of emotional betrayal. Family interference reportedly made the situation even more volatile. Sources close to Barış's inner circle claim his family was already uneasy about Yağmur long before this drama. They allegedly viewed her as unpredictable, too focused on her own rising career, and not the kind of woman who would stand quietly by a powerful man's side. The confession about Gökberk only confirmed their fears. According to whispers, several family members urged Barış to distance himself immediately, warning that this was not just a personal humiliation, but a threat to his public image. The emotional toll on everyone involved was brutal. Friends say Barış oscillated between anger and heartbreak. He reportedly confided to close friends that this felt like a knife between the ribs, delivered with a smile. Yağmur, meanwhile, seemed unfazed on the surface, but sources say she was caught off guard by the magnitude of the reaction. She allegedly didn't expect a casual remark to trigger such chaos. But some insiders insist it wasn't as casual as she made it seem, that it was a reflection of long-suppressed feelings and quiet resentment that had been brewing for months. And then there was Gökberk. Caught between admiration and scandal, his every move became part of the narrative. When he attended a film premiere days later, the crowd wasn't just cheering for his performance. They were watching every step he took, every glance he gave, every smile. Was he enjoying the attention? Was he uncomfortable? Social media had theories for everything. One video of him smiling shyly at a question about recent attention became the subject of endless analysis. Fans were convinced it was about Yağmur. The emotional commentary online reached fever pitch. Hashtags with their names trended across platforms. Fan groups split in two, those who supported Yağmur's honesty and right to choose her desires, and those who fiercely defended Barış, accusing her of public humiliation. One viral tweet read, "You don't compare men in public unless you want to destroy them." Another user countered, "She's not a possession. She can find someone more attractive. Deal with it." The internet, as always, turned private emotions into a battleground of opinions. Days later, a new twist added fuel to the fire. Paparazzi spotted Yağmur and Gökberk at the same upscale restaurant in Istanbul. While they didn't arrive together, the fact that they were seen at the same place was enough. Flashbulbs exploded, journalists shouted questions, and the photos dominated every platform the next morning. Yağmur's subtle smile as she left the venue became the most shared image of the week. It didn't matter if it was coincidence. To the public, it was confirmation. Barış, meanwhile, disappeared from public view. Insiders claim he turned down multiple interview requests, choosing to spend time away from the spotlight. But silence has a way of speaking volumes. Fans speculated about whether he was plotting a comeback statement or letting the storm pass. Either way, his absence only intensified the fascination with the story. But one thing is certain, this confession has left a mark that won't fade easily. If you've been following this drama as closely as we have, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. Whose side are you on in this storm of emotions? Team Barış, Team Yağmur, or Team Gökberk? The story may be theirs, but the debate belongs to all of us now.